welcome to Conversations with the Artists, the show where we talk to your favorite artists, we find out more about them personally, and of course, we check out their top 10 songs from their catalogs. We find out more about the writings, the touring, the jokes, all that and more right here on Conversations with the Artists. Now, this week we're heading to Bridgetown, Barbados to a young lady. Like I told you before, Barbados is really known as a soca country. But this young lady, alongside her band, has taken a different path. They produce pop music, rock music, R&B music. Yeah, you're wondering who I am talking about, right? Well, her name is Mahalia. So let's welcome Mahalia to the show. Hey, Mahalia.
What's up? What is up?
I'm good. How you doing?
I good. Everything blessed. And I just here thankful.
There you go. There's nothing wrong with that. That's great to hear. Now, for our viewers watching around the world, wondering who is Mahalia?
Mahalia is a little Bajan girl that is 100,000% Bajan. Loves her country, her people, her language and dialect. She's also obviously a singer, a songwriter, but also a dancer and choreographer. A visual artist, and I just recently added author to my CV.
Congratulations, that's a lot.
Thank you.
And of course we will dive into more of that, but let's start from the beginning. How did you get into singing?
Well, music is just a part of me. I like to say it's in my DNA because it really just feels like that. I would, from the time I was little, I would be singing all the time. My mother would tell you I was just singing, humming, ads on the radio, making up my own things, all of that stuff. I was singing at church. I was singing at school. But I didn't actually always want to be a singer. I didn't want to sing professionally. I didn't want to be an artist. I didn't want to be a celebrity. Like being in Barbados, you saw, like, when I was growing up, I saw a lot of what celebrity life was like, and at the time, along with the fact that it really wasn't something that people in Barbados considered as a career path. Like we have historically been like very academically driven as a country. Right. But so apart from that, I was afraid of that celebrity life if I happened to blow up and get big as an artist. But I loved singing, so I just kept doing it on my own, singing in my house, singing at school and whatnot. But after I went to UE and I met the guys who are in the band now. They asked me to sing with them at something that was being held in the Guild of Poetry, a poetry night. And it just felt so right. And I knew it felt right even before then. But still, we were just doing it for fun up until we even graduated UE. Doing nothing to do with music. Like all the degrees was like maths and physics and psychology, computer science. Like no one did music. There wasn't even a music program. Wow. But even after that, now having graduated and going into a job interview for a computer related job, like just being there, it just hit me like lightning, like God voice in my ear, like you should be singing, you should be doing music. And I politely declined the job and, I recommended somebody else.
Hold on. You politely declined the job?
Very politely and respectfully said thank you very much. But I'm going to have to, dip. I'm going to head out. Wow. But yeah, no, I was as respectful and polite as I could be, but I recommended someone else for the job, and I got up and get in a ZR, and I didn't look back, and it's been music ever since.
When you got home and you told your parents, hey, that day job, that is just not for me, what was the reaction like?
I did not know what to expect, Timeless. That's the truth, but I have been very fortunate that my mom was supportive of anything that I decided to do. She was always someone who believed that you should have a firm foundation to stand on or something to fall back on, is what she would say. So she would always say, go to school, get a degree, finish school, what have you. But even if I didn't do that, I feel like she would have still supported me. Because when I came home from that interview and I told her, Mommy, I am going to pursue music, she was supportive. She was just like, if you believe this is what you need to do, then I am behind you. And she's just been behind me ever since then. She's been behind me, pushing me, sharing my things on social media. The older generation of social media, but she is an avid sharer and liker and commenter on my posts or anything that I have to do. She will share with her people. She is just completely supportive of my decision, and I'm really fortunate because everybody didn't have that. Everybody didn't have that type of parent. So I'm just really glad that she was one of those.
You have your degrees, the entire band, they have the degrees and stuff like that. What was it like going through UE, completing your degree, and all of a sudden now your path is so different from where you started? But I mean, at the end of the day, you met your team members, but what was that like? I mean, when you look back at it, what was that like for you?
I think it was really an integral part of being where we are now, because a school experience kind of shapes you as a person. So we became the people we are a lot due to the experience we had at UE at school, even though we were doing a lot of different things. And on one hand, I know all of the rest could probably attest, but like I was thinking, why not waste bare time and money at UE doing something that I am not doing now as a career? But on the flip side, which is I think is a good balance and which worked out well for us, is we actually got to use a lot of the things that we did in our degrees. For instance, I did computer science, and I now am the person that is in charge of the band website and social media and that sort of thing. So I get to use what I did do at school.
Nice.
We had a psychologist in the band. Obviously, you use that every day, like psychology
Yes.
and the human condition. That's like hand in hand. And then maths and physics, and that sort of mathematical thinking is integral with to do with finances and that sort of thing. Logical thinking. So we do get to exercise the things that we did at school, even though we aren't in jobs in those fields. So
Talking to your mom and saying, "Mom, I'm going to be surrounded by 3 or 4 gentlemen. I'm going to be the only female in this band." Was there any reaction? What was that like?
it never came up. It's
Really?
not something that I have ever had a conversation with her about. Like, it's
Wow.
never been any kind of issue. It's never been a talking point. It's just we are all people, and I'm an adult. I would have been an adult then, and I'm my own person. She know that she raised me right, and we are confident that the other guy's parents raised them a sort of way too. So it's just always been about the camaraderie and the friendship that we had, the fellowship kind of brotherhood, sisterhood kind of vibes, and it's never really been an issue.
Before the band, with the new name 2 Mile Hill, you were called Nexix.
Hmm.
It's a very unique way of spelling Nexix. Let's talk about naming the band and choosing Nexix.
All right, so at the time, because you just mentioned about me being the only female in the band, and for a time I was the only girl in the band, but after that we had some shifts of members and what have you, and we got another female vocalist in the band, Roche, who is now off doing her
Oh
solo
yeah.
thing.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
that's when we got, because before that we were called Infrared. And when we decided, oh, there's a new band, let me just get a new name,
Yeah.
move forward fresh. Our management team at the time had a publicist who was a part of the process of coming up with a new name. Everybody was trying to think of things that we could call ourselves, and she came up with the idea of using the word nexus, Nexus, which means a connection between things or groups of things, or like the core of something. But we were using the connection side of it. And at the time, we had 6 members. So um, she decided that we would combine the 6 and the nexus to get next 6, which,
Ah.
you could get there, you can make the connection.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
then the
yeah.
spelling now was like all her own creativity at work. And I guess we were going for like, this is unique. People aren't going to forget it. When you see it, you can only think of this band, which I understand. But it was a good thing and a bad thing in that it was difficult to, it ended up being difficult for people to remember, which is what led us to 2 Mile Hill.
Ah.
Yeah, people couldn't spell it. Even though I would say all the time, even like during our performances and what have you, afterwards, people would still have to come and ask me what the name of the band is. And then if we're in countries where people don't speak English and they're trying to find it online, it just caused a lot of issues. So whenever anybody asks why we changed the name to 2 Mile Hill, I just ask them how you to spell next 6. And 99% of the time, people get it wrong. 99% of the time, people even got it wrong in newspaper articles, and so
Wow.
it was just time.
The choice of 2 Mile Hill. Why 2 Mile Hill?
Well, when we got to the point where we realized, okay, we need to change this name, we had a whole session of trying to come up with other names and things that would be easier to spell, easier to remember, easier to say, and then also something that would represent what part we come from, something that would represent Barbados, our home. So every time someone in an interview or just someone on the street or at a show would ask us, so tell me about 2 Mile Hill, we would be able to say, oh, that's a place in Barbados. Our prime minister's residence is there, blah, blah, blah. And we would always be able to link it back to where we come from, back to Barbados.
I'm going to ask you now, your first performance with the guys. I'm taking you way back now again. Can you remember that first performance?
Yes.
Oh,
This
cool.
is you mean like the first one at UE, right?
Yes.
Yes. I don't think I will ever forget it. I don't think I will ever forget it.
What was it like?
Well, it was nerve-wracking because it wasn't, even though I had a little bit of experience performing in front of people, it would have been people that I know, people from church, people that I was already comfortable with, people at school. But this is no UE. I didn't really know what to expect, but but I trust the people that I play the music with. I know that we sound a sort of good way, so sort of good enough. So I just had to kind of put that out of my head, and I enjoyed the song that I was singing, and when I was able to do that, I was just able to let go and have a really, really good time doing it, and it felt really right. And that's actually the kind of the driving force behind me realizing, this is what I want to do.
The band has also branched out because you started at a poetry event. The band has also branched out in doing a session called Mahalia's Corner, where artists and spoken word artists in particular get the opportunity to share their stories, share their art, and really be embraced. Let's discuss that. How did that start, and how did it become such a huge thing?
Well, all right, let me start at the beginning. So that poetry thing that was at the Guild, there were a lot of little events around Barbados that kind of resemble that, like people with open mics and people coming up and doing their poetry and singing, playing instruments, what have you, but just having the freedom to come up in an open mic session, to get on stage and, as a testing ground, as just a place to express yourselves. So when the band, after we left UE and we became a band and we were performing in venues and whatnot, people didn't know that I had a side of me where I wrote poetry, and I used to go to all of the said open mics and give myself a moment to go up on stage and sing, because even though I wrote poetry, most of the time when I went to the open mic events, I would go up on the stage and sing a cappella because I wanted to sing, and I didn't have a band at the time before the band came about. So I would just go by myself and I would go up on stage and sing a cappella. And it was something that actually gave me a lot of experience getting on stage in front of an audience and building that confidence and building that interactive skill and what have you. And at the time, when we started, there wasn't any of that happening anymore in Barbados.
Okay.
And so Tumal Hill came around because we were in a venue which was called Bump and Wine Cafe. So I want to shout out to Alan Shepard from Spice and Company, who was his place. And we wanted to give back to Barbados in that way, give people a place to come and have an open mic where they could get on stage and just express themselves, share what they had to share, or use it as a place to test the skills and build their confidence the way that I had the opportunity to do that. And then also to showcase the other side of me outside of the next six bram lick down the stage kind of performances, just like to scale it back and, you know, give that unplugged vibe to just a place to learn, not affect, just a place to come and chill. So it was a combination of those two things. And we were able to do that thanks to Alan and his venue. So Andre, who was our keyboardist at the time, he was like, we should call it Mahalia's Corner. And at the time I was real skeptical. I was like, I don't think it should be named Mahalia anything, but you know, I got on board with it, and it just, I guess it was the right thing because it stuck and it appeared to be something that people were hungry for, and we didn't know on what level people were hungry for it, but it, you know, it proved itself, and from then it just organically, it just grew and grew, and to this day it's still something that I have seen and heard that people are hungry for, so I'm ready for it to come back, seeing as how last year we weren't able to have it because of COVID lockdowns and such, you know.
If you're now joining us, welcome to Conversations with the Artists. We're in Bridgetown, Barbados, spending some time with the beautiful Mahalia. Yeah, she was called Mahalia P back then. She's now Mahalia C, representing 2 Mile Hill. Mahalia, thank you so much for spending this time with us right here on Conversations with the Artists.
Of course, thanks for chatting with me.
All right, so let's get into some of the music, and I want to start with Big Love. I think this is a perfect way to get into your musical career, because you said the love for Barbados, the reason why you use your dialect and the way you feel about Barbados. I think this is the perfect way to start this session. So let's talk about Big Love.
Yeah, man, Big Love is definitely my love letter to Barbados. I love this place and I am not a soca artist, and you see a lot and you feel a lot of Barbados coming through in our soca music. So over the years, I've always tried in some way to put some Barbadianness or Caribbeanness in our music, which is not an indigenous style of music. But more and more, I've been leaning towards trying to get that out there more, so that if people who aren't from the Caribbean hear it, they at least know it's Caribbean music or Barbadian music. And I know that I've always wanted to write a song about Barbados, but I couldn't, for the longest while, I couldn't find exactly the way that I wanted to express it. But a few years ago, the band, we got together for a writing session and we wrote a few songs then. And those songs included Talk to Me, which was released just before Big Love. But I started writing Big Love the same time. And I got the first part of it, I got out and I was like, yes, this is it. And that's Tell Me What You See When You Look Into My Eyes. And then I talk about flying through Caribbean skies, right? And then I get to Barbados. And I realized, oh, this is a song about my love for Barbados. But then when I reach the chorus and I get to the part where I'm talking about how I love Barbados, I couldn't get any further. And I couldn't understand why. I was wondering what exactly it is I want to say, how exactly I want to say it. So I had to actually put it on pause. And it was on pause for 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and I went back to it and I kept going back to it and I kept going back to it, but the words weren't coming the way that I wanted them to come. And last year in COVID lockdown, we were getting addresses from the Prime Minister so often, and she would be telling us about leaning on each other and that we are the spirit of Barbados. We are the people. We are what make Barbados, Barbados, the people. And, you know, this is how we are and this is who we are. And just hearing her voice and hearing her reassurance and hearing her words, and then hearing the rest of Barbados echo that to each other, was just the thing that inspired me to get the rest of that song to come out, and then it just come out. And I was able to finish writing it very quickly after that, which is really interesting. But then we decided that we would release it around independence, because it's independence. Like, independence is all about Barbados and our sovereignty and our personality and all of that stuff. So I thought that it would be perfect to release it for independence. And yeah, so that's how it happened, and that's when we released it to the people, and they showed it a lot of love. They showed the same big love that I was looking to show Barbados when I wrote it.
Well, let's hear the big love coming out from Mahalia Corner. Mahalia.
If you look long enough, you can see me fly to Caribbean skies and land safe in a place that is paradise. Oh, that I will always call my home. Where the people are my heart and soul, and I can never feel alone. And every time that I go away, so excited every time that I hear your name. Barbados, my heart just belong there. My heart just belong there. Break down any wall, any barricade. For another homeland I will never trade. Barbados, my heart just belong there. Little island, big, big love that will never go away. Never go away. Little island, big, big love that will never go away. Never go away. Tell me what you hear when you listen to my voice.
Little Island, big love. Wow. The response, you said, you recognize that people really gravitated to the song, and you were really shocked by the response. But why were you so shocked by the response?
I don't know if I would say I was shocked. I was just pleasantly surprised by it.
Okay.
Is because it's a song about Barbados, and we do have quite a few songs about Barbados.
Mm-hmm.
But up until recently, and there's some other artists that released some songs around the same time that had the same kind of vibe. But up until then, most of them weren't like, you won't really hear them in a club. You won't really party to them, Is
Right.
this sort of music? No, like, it's a cool song about Barbados. You know what I mean? Like, is one with a different kind of vibe. So I wasn't sure how it would be received by people, and if they would understand that it is a song about Barbados, even though it's like a dance track. It's still that kind of song, even though it's not beautiful Barbados.
Yeah.
So I was pleasantly surprised by the reception of the song, and I'm happy to know also that, like I mentioned, there's some other artists who put out similar vibes of the same type of I love Barbados, this is we country kind of song. So it got songs that we could play in a playlist together now.
Nice.
And that's just great to me.
Let's go back to the days of Next Six. You had a song called Queen, and the ladies really represented with this song.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Queen. Oh, Queen is one of my favorites, man. It, like we mentioned before, I am the only woman in the band. Again, I was before, and I am again, and I was at the time when I wrote Queen. So I felt like I needed to write a female empowerment song. I didn't think of it like that really, but it's a female empowerment song because the way that I wrote it, I wanted any girl or woman that heard it or sang it to feel like it's about them, and if they sing it back, they will be singing I, and not she. So that's how I wrote it. Like, I am a queen. I am a queen. So that when anybody sings it, they're singing that they're a queen because, she is a queen. I am a queen. But yeah, that was one. And it was one that made me feel kind of like badass too, like she's, royal.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Queen is a favorite of mine for sure.
Hearing it on the radio, the first time hearing it on your radio, what was that experience like?
Oh man, I guess technically by then I was kind of accustomed to hearing our songs on the radio, but hearing that one, it was really cool too because again, the type of music that we've released over the years hasn't been expected from Barbadian artists.
Right.
So to hear it playing on the radio and knowing that the DJs are giving it love too is a phenomenal feeling, because DJs make artists a lot of the time by playing our songs. So when we hear that DJs are playing our songs on the radio, it is really just a feeling of empowerment for us too, to know that our art is reaching the people and that more ears are gonna hear it. So that's how I felt at the time, for sure.
She's definitely a queen. Let's take this one coming on from Mahalia.
Standing by your shoulder, whisper in your ear. Watch me walk away, turn around, I see you stare. Don't try to stop this, cause we gonna rock this. Everywhere we go, everywhere we go. Hear me on your radio, see me on your news. I'm the one you heard them talk about, don't get confused. Y'all gon' take a step back, how she gonna get that? People wanna know, people wanna know. Hot to the touch, burn like fire. I'ma hold the torch up, I'ma shine brighter. Queen, 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 queen. Crown me, baby, crown me. Sit upon my throne now, gather round me. Queen, queen, queen.
Now we're gonna talk about the journey, because you've won some competitions as well as the band Nexus. Do you remember being entered into a competition that you had no idea was happening out there, the Ryan Seacrest competition, and winning that competition? What you know what we're talking about?
Oh yeah, that's definitely one for the ages. We recorded a video. Okay, we did our own arrangement for Moves Like Jagger by Maroon 5, because that's how we do. If anybody has ever heard of Mahalia's Corner, like we were talking before, or has ever been,
Right.
they'll know that the band does different arrangements to songs that everybody knows. So we did our own arrangement for that song, and we decided, man, we got this arrangement for this song, we should record a video. So we just put together our cell phone video of it and put it on our YouTube channel, and just put it up there because content.
Right.
A whole year passes, timeless, and then we get this notification on Twitter saying that we have made it to the second round of this competition, and we're like, the second round? Oh, what is this competition? What are you talking about? So we had to go now and figure out, wait, this is like a spam tweet, we don't know. So then we saw RyanSeacrest.com, and we was like, but we all know RyanSeacrest.com. So I clicked the thing, and we saw, best Maroon 5 cover. And it was like, what is a real competition?
Wow.
And the amazing thing about it, apart from the fact that it was up for a whole year before that, is it wasn't something that we entered. They scoured the internet on their own, and they chose videos from YouTube that they thought would be good contenders in this
Wow.
competition. And we had no idea that a first round happened, far less a second round. So after that, we now had to enlist the fans and the people of Barbados to vote for us. And every time we need that, Barbados always comes through. And we're competing against people all across YouTube, all across the world. And Barbados, we little island in the Caribbean Sea, come together and vote. And we beat out international artists to get to the top of that competition. And it was just amazing. It was surreal to experience.
To be named the winner, do you remember the exact moment you got the notification?
I don't, because it's been some time now. But I remember the general energy of the place, though. Like, we could feel it like obviously you looking through device screens, but like when you see the percentages going up and people just refreshing the screens every day, and then people commenting on social media and sending text messages and sending WhatsApp messages and whatnot, it's just like it was just electric in the air. Like at the time, the energy was just like, oh my gosh,
Wow.
you know, it was just incredible.
To create such a masterpiece means that there has to be a real synergy between the members of the band. What is it like in the room creating music? What's that process like?
It could be chaotic. It could also be very like quiet. So it depends. It's something that's really organic. Like there's no particular formula that happens with us anyway. There's no formula. It could happen. It could spark from me writing something first and sending it over WhatsApp or something, or we could get together in the room like we did for Talk to Me and Big Love and those songs, and somebody just starts to play an instrument and then somebody else joins in, and then it could happen that way. Or it could start with Russell playing something on his guitar and sending it to somebody, and then it builds that way. So it really is all about the vibe and about the song, and the song kind of just dictates what's gonna happen. So it could be anything.
Wow. That
Yeah.
But that in itself sounds like still an electrifying environment to be able to somebody to start to sing something and or hum something or play an instrument, and then somebody jumps in, and at the end of that be able to create a song.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. That is something that is unparalleled. So anybody out there that is an artist will understand what I mean. You know, like that's just something that is a priceless moment every time. Different and priceless every time.
We're moving on to the next song, Gossip Girl. Now
My jam.
I am curious. Was this song written for any particular person, or was it just a feeling
You know,
at that time?
it was not written for any specific person or any specific event. It is just something that is relatable, and I would venture to say it is a part of Caribbean culture. We just say that people malicious. In Barbados, we say you're malicious and dangerous, but in the Caribbean, we know that we like to talk people business, right? Talk people name. People is say, keep your mind off of me, you know, susu for me. All of the cultures. It's definitely something that is a characteristic of Caribbean and African culture for sure.
Yeah.
And I just felt like this sign that everybody can understand. If I tell this story, people are gonna be able to relate. So it wasn't something personal to me or anything, but I know that people would understand the story, where it was coming from.
So how was that like writing it though? What was that process like? You guys
That
were
was-
together? What was that
Let me
like?
see. When we did Gossip Girl, I don't think we didn't come together in one room for Gossip Girl. I think that started with like a riff from a keyboard riff or something, and then I came up with the idea for the story. And then I just sat down and come up with the lyrics for it, and I would shoot it to them and be like, this song, like, this makes sense. Or if I got to a part and I was like, I need something to rhyme with girl, and then somebody would be like, twirl, and or whatever, you know. So it went back and forth that way. It wasn't a come together in one room song, but everybody still had some kind of input, even if it didn't make it in the song, the final song, you know.
Performing the song, what was the audience response like?
The audience loved Gossip Girl. Like there were even people that you wouldn't have expected would listen to, because Gossip Girl is a straight pop song, like straight pop. So here in the Caribbean, like there's certain people that you may not associate with listening to straight pop, but even those people, some people that you would see maybe on the block or somebody that you might think is a bad man, and saying like there were some people that would be like, "You Gossip Girl is my favorite song," right?
Really?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And that actually made me feel really good, because that's how relatable the story was. but people loved it. People responded. We even had like a little dance that you would do in the chorus that people is doing now for Parlay, for Teddyson John's song Parlay, Parlay, Parlay. We were doing that for Gossip Girl. Like the audience would always do it along with us. Nice. And it was so interesting because there were a lot of people that did not know that it was our song. There were a lot of people that didn't even know it was a Barbadian artist singing the song. When we performed our own song, people thought that we were performing a cover of somebody else's song. But yeah, so that's kind of bittersweet, but the fact is that people were really receptive to Gossip Girl. People loved it.
Well, let's take it in. Gossip Girl, coming on from Next Six, that's what they were called back then.
Yeah.
Let me say this so you don't get the wrong idea. I'm a lady that's not afraid to take it there. Kept my cool long enough, but it's about time for you to get a little piece of my mind. I gave you the chance to shut your mouth now. I don't give a damn, your time ran out. And I heard what you said, see what you're doing. Who the hell do you think you are? I'm sick and tired, I'm done with this. I'm about to close your gossip lips. You try so hard to be in my world, no one can hear you. You gossip girl, gossip girl, gossip girl, you gossip girl, gossip girl, gossip girl, gossip girl, gossip girl, gossip girl, you gossip girl, gossip girl, gossip girl.
If you're now joining us, welcome to Conversations with the Artists. We are in Bridgetown, Barbados, talking to Mahalia C from the band 2 Mile Hill. Mahalia, thank you so much for spending this time with us right here on Conversations with the Artists.
I'm happy to be here, man.
Let's talk about traveling. Now, we said from the onset, Barbados is heavily known for soca music. You have the likes of Alison Hines, Edwin Nero, these guys who have traveled the world. But for a band like 2 Mile Hill to be able to leave Barbados and even perform in France and represent for the 246, let's talk about that journey.
Traveling to perform is always amazing. First of all, you're getting to travel. So for some of us, like that would have been the first traveling that we did. For instance, our drummer Chad, he was really young when he joined the band, and that would have been his traveling was done with the band. So that's like a whole new experience. And even for some of us who traveled before, I'm pretty sure none of we went France, up until that point. So that was exciting times to start with. But just being able to leave the Caribbean, even traveling to the Caribbean is amazing. But leaving the Caribbean and being able to fly the Bajan flag in some place as far as France is just unbelievable, because that is a country where people's first language is not English.
True.
And we're performing in front of this audience who doesn't know anything about us as an artist or about our music or anything, but they're still feeling the vibes and feeling the energy and being really receptive to the music and enjoying the music. And it's just a really, really great feeling, especially to get in front of a crowd who isn't as critical maybe as the crowd from where you come from, because a lot of the time where you come from is the hardest audience to please. Yes. But being able to go out to a crowd who don't know you from Adam, who knows nothing about you, and see them really receive your performance like that is surreal, is very, very incredible.
Well, how were you? What happened that allowed you guys to go to France to represent, though?
Another competition.
You guys seem to have it for competitions.
Look, like we really have been fortunate, and we really could never say that we did not and do not have the support of our fans, because those competitions require people to vote and sometimes you gotta vote every day. And for these competitions that we were in, we voted against people across the whole entire world, you know.
Wow.
And in this, I'm pretty sure in the Hennessy competition, we were up against, even Kes was in that competition. Kes Iban was in that competition, and we were able to get our fans to come together and vote us to the top. And that was a competition that Hennessy had, and it was their first online version of the competition, and it was on their Facebook, and we had to just share it and ask our fans to vote. My husband is actually the person who brought it to our attention. He was just scouring the internet because he's supportive that way, looking for things, you know, that we could do as a band to further, you know, the knowledge of the profile, right? So he was like, I think you guys should enter this competition. And he sent it to us, and we entered, or we had to enter a music video, or a video of us performing. And we entered a video of our song On the Floor from our first concert, 5/28/11, which is 10 years old in 2022. I mean, 2021, which is this year, the month of May. But yeah, we entered that live performance, and people come out and vote, and we really can't thank them enough, because that was a really big milestone in our band life, for sure.
You've touched on the song On the Floor, so let's discuss the song, the writings of the song.
Yeah, On the Floor, man. On the Floor, that was after the straight pop phase. that was one of the evolutions past pop, you know, because we were performing in nightclubs, and when you perform in nightclubs, one, in Barbados, you gotta be versatile and be able to do all genres. Right. So we didn't only do pop, we did hip hop, we did all these other things. And two, we were now kind of getting into more of the hip hop thing, because I was always somebody who liked hip hop, and I used to rap at home in private at rehearsals and stuff, and the guys encouraged me to when we performed that we should do some songs where I could rap. So that in came the Lauryn Hill songs and other hip hop songs. So when we started writing original music along those lines, then I was able to kind of flex my rapping muscles with On the Floor, which would have been the first one. And that song is one of the songs that what we used to do is we would write the song, and we would go in the club and we would perform it before we even record it to the audience, to give them a sneak peek and see how it was received. So On the Floor was one of those songs that we did that with, and people was feeling the vibe, and so we went ahead and we recorded it. And it was really, really well received. Really, really well received.
So for those watching, if you've been to the clubs and Next 6 to My Hill was performing, you were the testers for their songs.
The guinea pigs. Yeah.
Let's take a listen to On the Floor.
Let's do this. What? Here we're bringing out, got your attention now. We're rounding up the crowd, shoulder to shoulder now. It's a robbery, we be taking the beat. Better listen to me and get out of your seat. Here we're bringing out, got your attention now. We rounding up the crowd, shoulder to shoulder now. It's a robbery, we be taking the beat. Better listen to me and get out of your seat. Put your hands up, show me what you got, show me what you got. Keep your hands up, show me what you got, show me what you got. Make your body rock, what you waiting for? Time is running out, everybody on the floor. Everybody on the floor, everybody on the floor, everybody on the floor, everybody on the floor. Got this figured out, know what I'm talking about. When you hear the sound, want you to get down. By the time we leave this town, won't be nothing left around. Disco ball thrown down, speaker box blown down. Taking the hi-hat, taking the boom cat, taking the spotlight, so better recognize it's a robbery.
So not only can she sing, but she can also rap as well. The talented Mahalia from the band 2 Mile Hill.
Oh, these memories.
Memories, that's good. That's good. That's good. Some good memories, I hope.
Good memories. Good memories.
The transition from Next Six into 2 Mile Hill also allowed you to put out some songs that really pulls at your emotions. The song Set You Free was one of those songs. Can you share the story with this one?
Yeah, Set You Free, unlike Gossip Girl, Set You Free was a very personal story. And so that's a song that I actually wrote. I kind of just wrote it in my journal too. And it's a song that kind of just wrote itself. And so we were talking about the process of how we make songs and how it differs from song to song. And this one, I just sat down and wrote the entire song without any of the other guys, without any music, without any instruments, without anything, because it kind of just downloaded itself. I guess it was something that I really needed to get out, to express, and that was the easiest way for me to do it. And it took a long time before I even showed it to anybody, and until I was ready for it to be a song, and then I shot it off to Andre, and there were a few different music beds that were built around it, a few different productions around it before it got to the one where it was like, yes, this is it. And so since it was such a personal thing, it was personal on more than one level, and I thought, why not just let this be a moment where it could just be open and vulnerable in a way that I haven't been yet. And so it was an opportunity for me to now open up the side of me who was a dancer, because the type of performer I was up until then was just like organic, jump up and down on the stage, let whatever happened on the stage happen, and not so much like incorporating the dancer side of me into the musical performances. But this song was an opportunity, and it took a lot of encouragement too, but it was an opportunity to be able to incorporate that side of me into the musical side. So for the music video for Set You Free, I actually choreographed a solo piece and I performed it myself, and that's what the music video for this song is. So it was just like, all right, let me just tear down all of the walls all at once and be very, very vulnerable with the writing of the song and then the expression of it in the music video.
Because it was so personal, was it difficult to put those vocals on the record?
It was a challenge, yeah. Because it's very easy for me to shut off that vulnerability, and when I do that, you hear it come through in my singing. Like there's just something that's blocking like the emotional connection, and you hear it. So it was a little challenging to kind of like reopen up myself to the place where I was when I wrote it, to get the emotion to come through in the vocal, yeah.
Do you think that putting that song out there helped you emotionally?
Oh yeah, it definitely did. It helped me see where I was from the time that I wrote it to now, where I had grown to. And it helped me grow further in being able to be more vulnerable with my audience too, and not feel like they're invading my space, because that's another level of connection that you get with people when you could just be vulnerable as an artist. So I think that was definitely a big step towards getting to a higher level of connection with the audience.
For those who didn't know that you were a dancer, what was the response like when the music video came out and people saw you?
A lot of people's
dancing?
jaws hit the floor for sure. A lot of people's jaws hit the floor. But again, like it's always surprising how welcoming people can be, and how receptive to seeing something new your audience will be when they haven't seen it for a while. Because sometimes as an artist, you're kind of apprehensive about doing something different when your audience is accustomed to a certain thing. But but in my experience, they've always been really supportive and really open to seeing new things and learning new things about me as an artist and as a person.
Let's take in this track, Set You Free, 2 Mile Hill.
The sky is falling, the rain is pouring down. I cannot see your face. The sky is falling, and I can only try to hide me in this place. Watch it change and start to break apart and crumble into dust. I suffocate. Am I awake? I feel I must escape from this new eyes. What happened to you and me? Wish I could travel back in time to how we used to be. Did I outgrow you? Did you outgrow me? We tried, now I'm set you free.
And it does happen, you know, you outgrow people sometimes, you outgrow situations, and you just have to let them free.
It's true, and there are times when you just trying everything to hold on to something, but it just isn't. It's just better for everybody if you let it go, let it be.
Did people come up to you or message you and say, Mahalia, you see this song right here? This helped me through a real rough road, rough path.
Yeah, man. There definitely were people that messaged. I got quite a few messages like that, and I also got quite a few messages like every time I hear that song, it's made me cry. And I'm like, shoot. But at the same time, it's like, yes, because that's what I was feeling. But yeah, this song definitely touched a lot of people. Again, is a very relatable situation that I was talking about for sure.
If you're now joining us, welcome to Conversations with the Artists. This week, Bridgetown, Barbados, we're talking to Mahalia C, once known as Mahalia P. And since you're talking about the P and the C, yes, she's married now. Mahalia, let's talk about married life. How's that like, juggling entertainment life, married life, and everything that comes along with it?
It's a challenge for sure. But again, I feel like I just lucked out in all of these categories because my husband is just everything that I could ask for. He is undoubtedly and undisputedly my number one fan. He's been there from my first gig in a nightclub to now. He will be at every single gig that he can be at physically. He even was able to go with us to France the second time we went. He's there. He's play a roadie role with equipment. He is a videographer when we need a videographer. He's just like an extra body, or just being able to see him in the audience. Sometimes it's just something that I need to get me through a performance or through a day, or whatever's going on with me personally. So, and yes, as a female musician, a female artist, having a spouse or a significant other, it has to be challenging for him, especially knowing that I'm going to be on stage in places where he can't be, and you don't know, what can happen or what can happen. But he's always 100% supportive and encouraging. He is like my biggest encourager and cheerleader. And I feel real thankful and grateful to have him, for sure.
There you go. So kudos to the husband.
Yeah, man.
Mahalia's Corner has really evolved into, I would say, a national event. in the calendar of Barbados. Let's talk. Let's share that story. The evolving nature of Mahalia's Corner.
Oh,
Now-
last.
yeah.
Okay, so when we started in Bump and Wine Cafe, which was a small cafe in Bridgetown.
Right.
And it was Andre would play keyboards and I would sing. And it would really be like free form and no real like rigid format or anything. But we would have an open mic session because to me that's really, really important. And it was free admission and stuff. You know, the first show, I ain't sure how many people was in the room, but very quickly as the word spread, it got to the point where the audience couldn't fit in the cafe anymore. It was upstairs, by the wharf, upstairs waterfront cafe. So people would actually be on the stairs. Eventually, people were on the stairs and on the street because they couldn't fit in the venue. So it got to that point now where we were like, oh wait, we gotta move. And by then we were performing every week. And I think we performed every week and we had different artists come through after a while. And we went every week for maybe a year and a half.
Wow.
And then we were like, all right, we gotta move from in here. It is too small now. It can't hold the people. Yeah. So let's take a little break and regroup. And that's when we decided to start doing it in seasons. So there would be 4 or 5 shows each season. And we said, okay, well, we in Barbados, let me try to go to different venues in the island and kind of raise the awareness of the venue also. Right. So we started our seasons. Our season 1 officially would have been at Nauru, which is a sushi restaurant that's still there. In Hastings, Christchurch, and our first show there. We had Alison Hines as our featured musical guest, and I was like over the moon that she said yes to Lil me and my little show. But she was there, and just having an artist of that caliber say yes, I believe also raised the profile of the event too.
Yeah.
And then organically, it just grew from there. We moved from Nauru to Fusion Restaurant, and then we went to Bagatelle. I might be calling these in the wrong order, but we moved. It was like a little island tour each season.
Right. Until
it really got to a point where nowhere can hold the people, right? So we know how to think what is a venue that is going to hold 600 plus people.
Wow.
So moving from, I don't even know how many people at Bump and Wine to 600 plus people. And then we ended up at the Hilton Hotel. And even the Hilton, by the time we got to the finale of that season, could not fit the amount of people that were coming to the show. Wow. So then we had to move it to the Lord Erskine Sandyford Center. And it's been there ever since. And it's been full and sold out ever since. So I am eternally grateful to anybody who has ever been there, who's ever meant to come but never met it, who's ever spread the word about it, and to all the artists that we were able to have pass through, the seasoned artists, the spotlight artists, people like Edwin Yearwood, Lil Rick, Patrice Roberts, Kerwin Dubois, and then young and up-and-coming artists here in Barbados, people like Chian and Ria Lane, and just too many names to call, man. It's just like so dear to my heart, like, you know. And we celebrated our 10th anniversary in 2019, so we did it a little different. But to know that we're still here. No, this is the 12th year. we still here, even though we didn't have a show last year. We still here, and we definitely come in this year because I need it. The people want it and need it, so it got happen.
There you go. So it's coming. Mahalia Corner is coming.
Yeah.
Like I said before we played Set You Free, the change to Tuma Hill allowed the band also to really experiment with some musically. And this next song, Conversation, when it was brought to me for the premiere when it was on radio, blew me away when I listened to the song and I recognized the Mahalia was experimenting and really putting it out there to the audience. Why Conversation? Why this song? What happened?
It was just what I didn't even know how to describe what happened. Like, it wasn't a specific thing that happened, but sometimes a song just dictates where it goes on its own. And Conversation was definitely one of those songs that just said, this is what it can be. So, and at the same time, it was an opportunity to show the audience, you know, a different side of me too, and a different side of the band, because again, when people start to expect a certain type of thing from you, they kind of forget that you can be more than one thing. And it was an opportunity to show the audience, you know, that I am a grown woman. you know, I am a grown woman. I got a husband, and you know, sing about something that is more, that's more adult themed. Because I know that people would not have expected it, and so it was a combination of just doing something new and exciting and different, and giving me a chance to flex some different writing muscles too. You know, being like, use my metaphorical brain and do something that maybe is a little more, what's the word you're looking for? A little more. Yeah, a little more. A little more.
We can leave it there.
Yeah, so that was just how it happened. It happened kind of naturally.
Were you guys scared in putting this song out there on the radio? Was there any hesitation from the team?
No, man. Nah, we was ready to put it out, like, because it had a vibe. It had a vibe all its own, and everybody was feeling the vibe. And even though the subject matter was a little bit more adult per se, it wasn't explicit, first of all. And the writing, if I do say so myself, is clever and roundabout. So you could get what it's about, but I never actually say anything specific to what it's actually about. So it was interesting, and it was something that would have been interesting at the time to see how people reacted to it, because I know that it was unexpected. And then when people actually get a chance to listen to the lyrics and realize, oh wait, then that's now another level of reaction, you know, for a different reason. So it was exciting, and it was, you know, I was a little anxious only because it was different. And I had to make a music video for it, and I was like, I know how to do this music video, but it was just more excitement than anything else.
Let's take a listen to Conversation.
You up, thinking about you every since I wake up. Thinking about you might be thinking too much about some issues that we need to discuss. Yeah, boy, what you doing tonight? Close all the blinds, but I left on the light. Don't worry about that. You know the key under the welcome mat. Drop whatever else you're doing and come over here, yeah. And no need for you to rush, but don't break the speed limit. But I open for business. I need a face-to-face, but yet a face-to-face. Body conversation. Long time since I had a deep conversation. I've been waiting all day for some good conversation. I don't care if the neighbors hear this conversation. This is a long session.
Showing, flexing her muscles, showing that, hey, I'm a grown woman. Conversation. I like it. You also had Andre in the back as well, singing in the song.
Yeah. He's been on a few of them over the years from time to time, just like peeking out in a vocal.
What was that like trying to get the guys to, sing pieces here and help bring that vibe together?
It wasn't as difficult as you would think. It is anytime you hear their voices is because they want to do it. There's never a time when I'm like, I want you to do this here, and then it's like, no. It's always when they really want to do it. So if you hear Andre in the background of conversations, because he wanted to do it. so it wasn't a big fight.
It wasn't a big fight. If you're not joining us, Conversations with the Artists, we just made conversations, by the way. We're talking to Mahalia C from the band at 2 Mile Hill, previously known as Nexix. And since we are talking about having some of the members as well sing in some of the songs, we must play Let It Go. I mean, I think this is really where the guys really step forward and put their voices out there and say, hey, we are here too.
Exactly. It's like that whole first part is not me, So I don't think I would have been able to force anybody to do that, So it was really cool. But Let It Go is one of my favorite songs, and it's a song that we would always end, not always, but we would use it to end our live set with, because it's written for people to just let go of anything that they're feeling that bringing them down, if they're feeling stressed or if they're feeling sad, or to just remember that you're here and you're alive, and even if just for this moment you could just let go of every other thing and enjoy the moment. And we even had a dance for it. We have a dance for it. Saying had like we got a dance for it. We actually get the audience to do, and no matter where we are, what event it is, when we perform this song, the audience always gets involved. Like during the chorus, we ask people to just wave their hand like this to wave off anything, wave off any negativity, get rid of all the bad vibes, right? And people do it with us, and it's just always a phenomenal experience to have the audience do that along with us. But yeah, Let It Go is that song where it's just like for this 3 minutes, just forget everything else and let go,
Was there any inspiration behind writing this song, or it was just one of those things?
It's just one of them things, man. It's just one of those things. We have always been a band that our kind of mandate is that you gotta move and enjoy yourself when we perform. It's high energy, and there are times when you just get to the end of the fete and you remember all the things you're going home to, or whatever the case is. But we felt like there could be a song out there that is just in name more to it than let go of everything and enjoy it. Enjoy yourself. If you only enjoy yourself for one song, enjoy yourself for this song.
Do you remember the first performance of this song?
I don't. You asking me. I don't. I wish I did, but it's like every time we perform, especially when we perform this song, every time we perform is just like a whole new thing, and it's always so good and high energy and like real, like you feel it's tangible, and so anytime I can remember that we performed it just feels amazing. So I can't remember the first time that we would have performed it, but I'm pretty sure the first time we performed it, before people even knew what it was, people were doing the dance with us, and it was like a vibe. So
Well, let's take it in. Let It Go, coming on from back then Nexix, but they're now called 2 Mile Hill.
NEX, Lady Juggernaut. I ain't even on the mic yet, but we getting lethal. Get him straight.
Stand from like a soldier, the wall on your shoulder. You're feeling like the boat sinking. Can't out, no time to hesitate. Got to open the gate. It's time to start thinking. You can be who you wanna be. Fly like the birds and the bees. Not bad, my philosophy. Outside, shut out, let us see.
Don't you know when the stakes are high, you can still get up? Hey, don't you know when the chips are down, you can still let go? Hey, just Say you gotta rip up, flip up. See the people out there to the strip up, never trip up. You gotta put your cup up, walk up. Now we gonna lock the block up. We take it and shake it in here and outside in the alley. We here, we so wide awake, we about to get rowdy. So when you're ready to escape, just pop in your mixtape. We rockin' the streets and cause the earthquake.
Don't you know when the stakes are high, you can still get low? Hey, don't you know when the chips are down, you can still let go? Hey,
Let it go. What a song.
shout out the anthem. Oh, just shout out the anthem.
When I'm ready.
And of course, you got in some rapping in there as well.
Of course.
Moving on to Talk to Me, the song Talk to Me. Let's share the story behind this one.
Oh gosh, Talk to Me. Again, that's a song that was written a while before it was released. It's a song that I wrote with Bagina Kente, who is a big reggae artist here in Barbados. And it's a song about understanding that you can't know what is going on with somebody unless you talk to them, unless you have conversations. If you don't share your experiences, all that happening is assumption, right? And when you find that when you talk to people, then you realize that you got more in common with each other than differences. And a lot of conflict and a lot of, that stuff would probably not be a problem or as big a problem if we actually just talk to one another. So that's what Talk to Me is about. And we wrote it in 2017, but we only released it last year again. We only released it last year. And I think that was like divine timing, because there were several times when we said that we were going to release it, or that we thought we would release it. And for one reason or the other, we didn't release it. And then 2020 happened and COVID happened and lockdown happened and stuff. And we had already decided that we were going to release it in 2020. And we started even recording a music video at the top of the year. And our final day of shooting the music video for Talk to Me was the day that the Prime Minister told us that we were going to go into lockdown.
Wow.
So we got our final bit of shooting done just before lockdown happened. So editing and all of that happened in lockdown time. And we were able to release it at a time where we felt more isolated than any other time. And where we really needed to stay connected more than any other time. So like it was just the perfect message, like reach out and talk to each other, see what's going on, we can move from there when we know what's going on. The Prime Minister again was saying we gotta get through this together, we gotta talk to each other, you gotta help your neighbor, So it just seemed like it was meant to be. And yeah.
Let's take a listen to Talk to Me.
Expression on my face, not enough hurdles to keep me up this way. I know you don't see me, so you just standing in my way. You get the perks, we do the works. Got no respect for what we really worth. Look, everybody got their own thing going on. Everywhere inside the city is confusion. You just don't understand. You're not among the common man. You don't know our dreams, our plans. It's not what you heard, you know the word. So why don't you come out and talk to me?
because sometimes we really just need to talk to each other. That way we can really help each other and heal, because you never know.
Exactly.
Somebody may really need that listening ear. So if you are feeling away and you really need to get it out, talk to someone. It's very important. We all are in this together.
That's right.
There you go. Time is getting away from us, Mahalia. Get over.
Yes. Get over. All right. So like How Set You Free was like kind of a heartbreak song. Get Over is a heartbreak song, but it's one of them songs like, because it's sad don't mean that the music gotta be sad. Okay. Well, I mean, it depends. It's relative, to the sadness, because in Get Over, the relationship that is happening, it was a relationship, but now it's over. Right. But you're amicable, so you're still talking, but one person still pining for days past, like, but pretending that they're okay with the friendship. Right. So it's like a pretend thing on one side. The other person living happy, but somebody just like missing the relationship, but pretending that they're okay with being friends. That's what Get Over is is all about, really. Yeah. So
a smart way to hide the feelings.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Like I even talk about, I can pretend, but as soon as you left here, I can write a sad love song right now.
But still a feel good get over breakup song. So if you're going through that,
you can still move there. You can still shake to it.
Let's take a listen to Get Over.
Play a song for the broken hearts, the lonely hearts, my baby girl. Ooh. All I can see when I close my eyes, all that I hear in my quiet times, all I know is it's you that I can't get over. When I sit down to focus, my eyes blur and I'm feeling distracted. What I preach I can't put into practice. Cause I can see it, I can see it non-stop. The way you vibe, where you had me on top. We used to ride and we take it in stride. When you see me on the corner, let me not the rum drop. But I'm coming back to sober now, and your heart getting colder now. Remember what we had, I know that we will never get it back, but I can't get over. Can't get over. I can't get over. I know that we will never get it back, but I can't get over. Can't get over. I can't get over. Can't get over.
Can't get over, but finding a smart way to get those feelings out there. Yeah, I like it. To Mile Hill, we are talking to the lead singer, Mahalia C. This is Conversations with the Artist. Yes, as we know, time is winding down, Mahalia. I want to bring in the fact that you, like you said in the beginning, you are now an author as well. What happened?
That's something that I never envisioned for myself. It was never an aspiration of mine, but much like a lot of things in my life, I'm steered there organically. I don't know if you want to say the universe pushed me in that direction. But like we said at the beginning too, I love off of Barbados, right? I really love Barbados. I really love our dialect and our language. And there came a point where I realized that I wanted to share my love for the language with everybody else. So I just started posting things on social media, things that I remembered, words and phrases and, other terms and stuff that I noticed didn't really get recognition as this is really Barbadian. And Bajan dialect is so special and unique to Barbados. Like, we do have a lot of things we share across the Caribbean and the diaspora with Africa and what have you, but there are a lot of things that Barbadians say in a Barbadian way that nobody else does. So I started thinking of like things that we just say in everyday conversations that people may not even realize, oh wait, yeah, only Bajans say these things. And I started posting them around 2016 on my social media. Yeah. And the hashtag came about some people just started putting the hashtag on under the post in the comments with other suggestions that they had. And I watched out of Bazodi magazine because I think he's the first person that I saw to use the hashtag Bajanisms. And I thought, this is a perfect way for people to find all of these things just by clicking the hashtag. So that's how it took off. And in the comments where people would give me more suggestions for words and phrases that they remember, or share other people's posts and be like, wait, this is a Bajanism, right? and in the comments, people would say, you should put these in a book, you should put these in a dictionary, or put these together in a compilation. And my husband joined in the chorus of people saying it would be great to to have a book with all of these things so people could see it in one place. And I don't remember when I decided I was going to do it, but I had decided I was going to do it, and I had posted on social media, all right, I'm going to write the book. And that was partly for me too, because like just to make a commitment to myself to do it, but I didn't know when it was going to happen. And it had gone to a point where my husband was saying, so you think about the book yet? You think about the book yet? And I know that he was probably getting frustrated with me because it didn't seem like I was moving forward. But when lockdown happened, and that lockdown, actually, as tragic as the circumstances were, it had some silver linings for me, because it gave me a moment to step back from having to perform or having to be an artist on stage and in the public eye all the time, to sit down and really go through my thoughts about the book and about how I wanted it to be presented to everybody, and making sure that it would be the way that I need it to be because it's a representation of Barbados. I was able then now to put it together and format it the way that I needed to be formatted. And with the help of the NCF grant, then I was able to make Bajanisms happen.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the response so far? I heard some rumors that another book may be coming.
another book or two. But yeah, the response has been phenomenal. The reception is up to now is phenomenal. And I didn't have any expectations really going into it, because this is my first, I jumped right in the deep end with it. It's not something that I have done before, so I didn't know what to expect, but I knew it was something that, regardless of how it turned out, it was something that I needed to do. So I just went and I do it. So, but the response has been incredible. People have been really loving it. People in Barbados, people in the diaspora, people that have bought the ebook. A lot of people have gotten it signed by me, which is a very strange thing because I'm accustomed to signing autographs for a different reason. But I was even able to donate one to my alma mater, the St. Michael's School, and that was an amazing feeling to be able to do that, because it's never something that I thought would ever be happening. But they got a book by me at my old school, so it's incredible, and I definitely have more to share for sure.
We just can't call you a singer, we have to call you a creative. As a creative, yeah. What is some of the advice you would have for younger creatives out there who may be thinking about making the leap into whatever field they're into, or even thinking, is this really something you can get into and really survive in?
I think my advice there is, one of them is the right questions that you're asking yourself. And when you find out if it is something that you really want to pursue, if you really love it and you really want to pursue it, then go ahead and do that. There is a wealth of knowledge out there that is a lot easier to come by now on the internet. Just do some research and you will find the information that you need to go on the journey that you're looking to go on. But it starts really with knowing that it is something that you are willing to work hard at. And especially if it is a creative field like music, it's going to be harder than the work that you have to put in is going to be more than you think, but the rewards are going to be worth it. So just get to know that that's what you really want, and that's what you really love, because if you don't love it, it could break you really easily. So just put your foot in the water. Form as many relationships as you can with people who've gone before you. Get advice from people, and just do research and find the information that you need to find. But you just can't give up, because it's gonna be a challenging road. But if it's something that you want, just don't ever stop. Don't ever give up.
We're on to our final song, and I remember getting the call saying, "Timeless, we got a song to drop with you. Take a listen to this song." And I remember listening to it and saying, wow, the band is merging some soca, some dancehall, some hip hop. So it was a mixture, because I know the talents of the band, but to actually hear a song, and especially to put it out during Crop Over, the festival Crop Over, it was a big thing for the band. Let's talk the song Run It. Let's talk about that.
Run It is a special song, man. So it is a fusion. It is definitely a fusion. And the reason that we put it out in the Crop Over season is actually because it felt like there was a place for it. It felt like there was a place for it there. It wasn't written for that reason,
right?
But it actually was able to fit in, and I gotta get a big shout out to the Bashment Soca guys, because they kind of open up that door where there is room now to do Bashment fusions, and Tuma Hill is a band that it is technically a fusion, because there's how many different personalities coming together in one band, which means there's so many different influences in the music that come through, and everything we do is a fusion. Right. So when Black Man Chant because he produced the beat, and he told me, I got this beat that I need you to hear. We were in the studio recording a whole different song. We was recording Talk to Me, actually. Yes, we were recording Talk to Me. And after the session was done, he was like, I got this beat for you to hear. And he played it, and it was the beat for Run It, and it was like, what is this? And it just it was so infectious. It was so infectious, and I just knew I had something to write on it, and it wasn't written with any agenda. It wasn't us trying to have a song during the season or doing anything specific. It was like, this music needs to be made, and that was it. So he sent it to me, and I just went home and I wrote the song in one night. I am sure it was really quick. And it just felt right. Like the vibe of the music kind of just dictates where the songs go for me. And that beat just led me to write what I wrote, and Run It happen. And we were able to put it out in this season, and it was great, because it caused Crop Over season now to be a different experience for me.
Yes.
And that was very, very cool.
Mahalia, we got to say thank you so much for spending this time with us right here on Conversations with the Artist. It really was an honor to have you and to listen to your story.
I'm really humbled to be here, man. Thank you so much for having me.
So on this note, we will bid you goodbye for now, and we'll take in the final song coming down from the band Tuma Hill. It's called Run It. Until next time, be good and be safe.
Run it, 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 run it. Ease it up when you just back a little. Keep it up like a funny bicycle. On the track, pedal fast to the middle. Top class is a little official, it's official. Never matter at all if you're single. Whether you couple or you double or you triple. Whether you drip, drop it or a drizzle. Vibe out to make a show how you're skillful. From the sunrise to the sunset. From your iPhone to your car set. You got to know how high the bar set. On your mark, get ready, get set. From the sunrise to the sunset. From your iPhone to your car set. You got to know how high the bar set. Hold tight, set up yourself and go down to the floor. Cause a commotion, take it down low, get ready to go down to the floor. Cause a commotion, take it down low. Take it right down, down, down. Take it right down. Let me see you go down to the floor. Little more. Position your starting block and run it, 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 run it. Position your starting block. Ease it up and assume the right angle. Wrap your fingers around your ankles. And you can bubble in heels or sandals. Top shelf looking like you're causing a scandal. Nobody can